When the walls are breaking down, when we're falling with our head on the ground, do you feel it's reaching out? Can you hear
The next franchise is the North London Railways franchise, which was won by National Express, operating under the name North London Railways, but it was later rebranded in 1997. It was rebranded to Silverlink. Services ran under two sub-brands, fast services running from London Euston to Birmingham, as well as running on the Abbey line from Watford Junction to St Albans Abbey, and running on the Marston Vale line from Bletchley to Bedford, ran under the name Silverlink County, and services that run under the North London line from Richmond and Clapham Junction to Stratford and North Woolwich, as well as the Gospel Oak to Barking line and slow services to Watford Junction, ran under the name Silverlink Metro. They used the Class 150, 313, 321, 350 and Class 508. In November 2007, as part of the redrawing of franchises, Silverlink was broken up. Silverlink County services were merged with the Central Trains franchise to form the new West Midlands franchise, awarded to Govia, commencing operations under the name London Midland. Silverlink Metro services transferred ownership to Transport for London to form the London Overground. In November 2007, TfL took over operations of the Silverlink Metro, operating under the London Overground brand. The line between Stratford and North Woolwich had also been withdrawn. They used Class 172s on the Gospel Oak to Barking line and 378s for the rest of the lines. In September 2009, Imperial Wharf Station opened on the West London line between West Brompton and Clapham Junction. In April 2010, the East London line was added to the network, including services to Dalston Junction, Shoreditch, Canada Water, New Cross, Sydenham, Crystal Palace, Norwood Junction and West Croydon. Then in December 2012, TfL took over southern operations on the South London line and added it to the network, now using a previously abandoned railway line from Surrey Quays to join up with the National Rail network just before Queen's Road Peckham Station, and carrying on through Peckham Rye, Denmark Hill, Clapham High Street, Wandsworth Road, and terminating at Clapham Junction. There are plans for a new station to be built on this line between Surrey Quays and Queen's Road Peckham, called New Bermondsey, with a section of the line safeguarded for the possibility that the station plans go ahead. In May 2015, TfL took over metro services from Greater Anglia from Liverpool Street to Hackney, Chingford, Seven Sisters, Enfield Town and Cheshunt, as well as the Romford to Upminster line, using Class 315s and 317s. New Class 710s entered service on the Watford DC line in September 2019, and then the Lee Valley lines in March 2020, and then on the Romford to Upminster line in October 2020, replacing the Class 315s and 317s. The next franchise is the South Eastern franchise, formed from the Kent Coast and Kent Link subdivisions, and the Redhill to Tunbridge section of the North Downs subdivision, which was run by Connex, operating under the name Connex South Eastern. Services ran from London Blackfriars, Charing Cross, Cannon Street, London Bridge and Victoria to Woolwich, Lewisham, Bexley Heath, Sidcup, Dartford, Grove Park, Bromley, Swanley, Orpington, Sevenoaks, Redhill, Tunbridge, Hastings, Paddock Wood, Maidstone, Gravesend, Strood, Chatham, Sittingbourne, Sheerness, Faversham, Canterbury, Margate, Ramsgate, Dover Priory, Folkestone and Ashford, using the Class 365s, 375s, 411s, 421s, 423s, and 465 and 466 networkers, and Class 508s. In November 2003, the South Eastern franchise was privatised. The South Eastern franchise was now privatised, owned by the Strategic Rail Authority, operating under the name South Eastern Trains. In 2004, the Class 365s were transferred to West Anglia Great Northern, while the Class 411, 421 and 423 units were withdrawn and the Class 376s were introduced. In April 2006, the South Eastern franchise was re-tendered as the Integrated Kent franchise to include operating High Speed 1. The Integrated Kent franchise was then awarded to Govia, operating under the name South Eastern. In December 2008, the Tunbridge to Redhill line was transferred to Southern, with High Speed 1 services commencing in December 2009 under the sub-brand South Eastern High Speed, using new Hitachi Class 395s, with Class 377s entering services on the mainline services, with Class 707s starting to replace some Class 465s operating on the South East London Metro services. The next franchise is the Network South Central franchise, formed from the South London Lines and Sussex Coast subdivisions. It was awarded to Connex in May 1996, operating under the name Connex South Central, running services from London Victoria and London Bridge to New Cross Gate, Denmark Hill, Crystal Palace, Beckenham Junction, Clapham Junction, Streatham, West Croydon, Wimbledon, Sutton, Epsom Downs, Epsom, East Croydon, East Grinstead, Uckfield, Purley, Caterham, Tattenham Corner, Redhill, Reigate, Gatwick Airport, Dorking, Horsham, Brighton, Hove, Littlehampton, Bognor Regis, Portsmouth, Southampton, Seaford, Eastbourne, Bexhill, Hastings, and Ashford. They use Class 205, 207s, 319s, 411, 421s, 423s, 455s, and 456s. In 1997, services from West Croydon to Wimbledon were withdrawn, later being taken over by London Tramlink. Then in June 1997, services from Rugby to Gatwick Airport via the West London line were introduced. In August 2001, Govia had been awarded the Network South Central franchise, operating under the name South Central. In September 2001, new Class 377s entered service, replacing the Class 421s and 423s. And then in August 2002, Class 171s entered service to replace the Class 205s and 207s. In May 2003, the franchise was rebranded as the South Central franchise, and South Central had been rebranded as Southern. In 2007, more Class 377s had been ordered to replace the Class 319s. In June 2008, the Gatwick Express franchise was merged into the South Central franchise. In December 2008, Southern took over the services on the Redhill to Tunbridge line from South Eastern. Services to Rugby were then curtailed to Watford Junction and then extended up to Milton Keynes Central. In September 2009, Govia had won the new South Central franchise, which included Gatwick Express. In 2010, Class 313 units had entered service on the Coastway lines. In December 2012, the London Bridge to London Victoria via Denmark Hill line was mostly taken over by TfL, incorporating it into the London Overground network. In 2014, all Class 456s were transferred to South West Trains. In July 2015, the South Central franchise was merged into the Thameslink Southern and Great Northern franchise, won by Govia, operating under the name Govia Thameslink Railway, but retaining its Southern branding, just with a revised logo.